Saturday Showdown, T1 versus Unrelight.
These diamonds on the side of the bros are going to be able to shine brightly here in this game number 3 to pick themselves up a win, or whether it will be Nongshim. Nongshim will be first pick on the blue side as Hanjin Brion have elected for counter pick on red.
All right, let's see if this does pan out. The first pick, Cassiopeia, did eventually work, right, in that first game. Scout, though, has just completely outclassed Roamer this series.
Yeah.
So I'm most concerned about him if I'm Hanjin Brion. They take away 2 of his champions right away, but those are also 2 champions he could have banned against almost anyone, even though he has been the best lock.
Yep.
We'll see what he gets his hands on here in Game 3, because even imagining him playing Talia sounds like a scary prospect.
Maybe we can call him the Loch Ness Monster.
Ooh, I like that.
Could be fun. Okay, couple of bans left to go. One final one here for Nongshim. The Nocturne was just kind of ignored in the last game. Maybe it would be, there it is, banned away in this one. And one more ban. Xin Zhao stocks are pretty high given the junglers that have already been played.
Look at the support.
And Poppy being banned.
The support pool that's banned away is the core right now of our meta, with some counterpick Leonas sprinkled in there. So stuff like Rakan could be a consideration. Annie, Wukong.
Oh,
so
Vi.
maybe first pick Annie could be what Scout wants here. The Vi is definitely going to be banned, right? So maybe he just locks that one in and they play a simple draft here to close it out and also deny it from Bro. Instead, they're going to get that high prio Jace.
Okay. No Olaf to pick into it, which has been a bit of a deterrent when it comes to the Jace blind picks this time around.
How's your Yorick looking, casting?
I mean, casting is
There's no Cassante.
Yeah. Casting's been pretty good, but this is a difficult situation to counterpick the Jace. So a pretty nice first pick here for Nongshim to start us off, but casting could show us that he does have a plan. Pantheon available, but so is Lucian Melio. They could just slam that and just say, we'll find something else to play into the Jace. How's your Malphite casting? Maybe there's going to be an angle there. But this will almost definitely be Emilio.
I'm kind of shocked that Annie Prio is just not there in either of these drafts, considering how incredibly powerful it's been deep and fearless, but
has also been very popular in the Kesper Cup.
Yeah.
A lot of our teams have been gravitating towards it, mainly in Game 2s.
the Lucian lane is very powerful. They're not going to grab the Emilio, which I guess is pretty fine since most teams don't counterpick it.
Yeah.
Or rather steal it away, I should say. You know, to try to go look for like a Emilio Aphelios. We saw Pays and T1 do that once this year, but I don't think they are going to get it away. So they get the prios in. That's the risk they're taking here, but I think it's a pretty low-risk choice. We could still see Annie Wukong here, but with the Jace, I feel like this comp doesn't necessarily call for it anymore.
I want Draven Melio. That's what I want.
Hens wants to steal it away, but maybe they're just trolling.
Yeah, they're going to hover it at least. The time's ticking down. They may actually just lock this away. So the Melio denial does come in. I don't know if it's a good thing.
I mean, Diablo plays a lot of the carries that are empowered by Melio really well, especially Lucian, but he can't play that one. But he could play Jinx even in this draft if they want to just kind of play an outrange game. He could play the Aphelios. See what he wants to do. I mean, Yunara is possible.
I want the Draven!
I mean, I want it, but I don't think we deserve it.
That's a good point. It's been a while since we've seen that guy. It's going... Oh, Xayah Melio. Oh my goodness.
What are we doing?
That makes...
Why are we doing
way worse than Draven. My gosh.
Namgun can either play still the Nami or can play... I mean, there's a lot he can play. Can even play Yuumi.
You know what my favorite thing about Xayah is?
Tell me.
Xayah backwards is Hayax. That's my favorite thing about Xayah. There's a lot of negatives that I could take you through, but I'm not going to go there. The Yorick is going to be locked away. That was your answer that you came up with into the Jace provided before.
So,
wait, now we're just going to ban everything that the Lucian wants to lane with.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Nami is going to be gone, right? They're going to take away the Wukong.
I don't know whether you need to ban Nami. I think that champion is just kind of trash at the moment.
Pike. And Braum, maybe? But Braum and Emilio sounds pretty miserable.
Yeah.
So maybe not actually caring about that one. The level 1 gets a little bit funny, though. Not in the lane, but outside of the lane.
Elise doesn't exactly activate.
Are they just going to play a range support, like a poke support? Like
Seraphine Lucian?
Yeah, I mean, something like that, or could even just play like Ashe support.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing is, a lot of this, any of it that's ranged beats the Xayah Milio lane, I think. So, see what they end up going for is we'll also see Roamer's Akali of fame taken away from him. Annie's going to be picked up with the Wukong banned away. They have the Xin. They picked it up early in this draft, and that's why they don't have Emilio right now. So eventually we got there. We found the Annie button. And it's good for Lucian.
It's a pretty good Annie angle.
Good luck ulting away as Xayah the bear.
Yeah, that's
good
what
luck
I'm
timing
thinking.
that.
At least Lehens will always be able to ult Diablo, and then he can press Featherstorm afterwards. But I don't know whether the damage has kind of been done at that point. And he will be locked in. What's the answer for Scout? It is just a very standard Victor. He has enjoyed this pick a lot in the past. So we'll be very comfortable. As that is
a Trundle. It's going to be Trundle, isn't it? Trundle into the Xin. A lot of power if the Xin gets cut off. And it's very good in Dilution because he's low range and needs to be dashing forward. And the Yuumi I mentioned earlier, looks like it's going to fit the bill here because it's going to be able to deal with a lot of this pressure. Okay, going for an engaged support, though, creates a level of volatility in this lane that I just am not a huge fan of.
See? They knew!
Support Draven.
The Draven angle would have been the brave option. Instead, we're going to have Lucian Yuumi versus the Milio Xayah this time around.
I don't think that this draft is going to be defined by the Milio lane. I think this draft is going to be about the fact that there's so much disruption here for Nongshim, the pillar in particular, but the gravity field, the Jace poke that outranges here, that makes this so hard for Hanji and Brion to play out if they don't have a massive lead with this Lucian. They might be able to get it, right? They can play their bottom side, getting a path down there. That means the Yorick doesn't necessarily get online the way he wants to. And Roamer will have a lot of setup here, but even though there's a Xayah that is not going to really be able to escape the Tibbers, maybe he just isn't in range of Tibbers at any moment in time, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there'll also be a Ghoulie Wall to deal with as well. That one might be a little bit more difficult, but there's not a massive amount of range, I guess, on the Bros. And so the Xayah could find some value there with the Featherstorm and the Recall. But I just haven't really liked Xayah that much in the current meta.
I don't think anybody really does. We just pick it sometimes, but usually it's our players who have years of history playing Xayah in these situations and outplaying. Diablo's just too young to have that under his belt just yet. We know he's capable, but I'm not ready to trust just yet. I think these drafts are pretty even, but they are pretty weird as well. So as we jump into this game 3, I guess we're going to find out together.
Yeah, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. On to the Rift for game number 3 in this Fries group bout between Nongshim and Brion.
미니언들이 생성되었습니다.
All right, Bro fans getting louder and louder as this series goes on. The vision is down, and we are ready to get into this laning phase. So far, no shenanigans, no funny business. And I think, as far as looking down the lanes right now, I think that Bro are pretty happy with their matchup topside, although that will take a little while to get into a good place. The bottom lane, I feel like the Bros are going to be very happy, at least for a while, although right now I would say not so
Well, it doesn't matter if the damage is on the Yuumi, if she can just stay attached forever, but problem is Teddy didn't do any damage while that was happening, so it wasn't really a trade.
Fire kick can be really annoying as well if you do manage to catch a Yuumi who's trying to reattach, so
I think
I'm going to have to be careful.
Because of the pathing to the bottom side here to impact this 2v2, I do think this Yorick is not necessarily going to get off the ground as early as Bro would like. So that is a bit of a concern. As you guys can see already, the push is there for the Jace in level 1.
It looks like
Teddy
Diablo
is
in the hands are very comfortable.
Yeah, Teddy is just trying to layer some damage in, but just really is reminded that Yuumi is kind of in a horrible state, which most people like, to be honest.
Yeah, I think the weaker Yuumi is, the better League of Legends is, just in general. I remember, there's other examples when Teemo is way too strong. You also just don't want to play the game. There are a lot of champions that can just be a little bit frustrating.
Mel.
So a lot of people would agree with the Mel angle as well.
They're just going to catch this wave, but this Lucian lane isn't working out. Let's see if Gideon can make up for the fact that they lost that Milio with this Xin pick, you know, because that was the expensive choice they made. I didn't think this lane was going to be defined by the Milio pick or anything like that, but based on how the level 1 went, I think actually it kind of is.
Yeah, they do want level 3, right, before they're really going to be powerful in the Lucian lane. And it's even more pronounced when, like, Lucian is the only one in the lane, basically.
They're getting out-cleared right now by Sponge, so Sponge is going to be here first.
Yeah,
he
should be able to take the scuttle.
And I don't think that Gideon can really make a play here right now. And Scout is controlling the mid lane, so you got level 3 on Lucian, but you're kind of huddled under a turret, so it is what it is, I guess, for good old Teddy. He was like, wait, but I needed the Milio when I wanted this one. Now, under threat because Gideon just left him here.
Let's see whether this pillar can actually make this one work as Namgung does detach. They're trying to tank up this turret as Diablo's flashed on in. That is first blood over to the Yuumi though. They're going to pick up a double and oh my god, that could not have gone worse for Nongshim.
I guess the value of the Yuumi after all was just the ability to press exhaust in a failed dive defense to then be able to get a free kill for Teddy while the jungler was on the other side of the map. All right. I guess it was a great pick after all.
I think I have a headache too. Let's have a look at it again.
So this is a Trundle gank, so it's not very easy to set up, right? Tanking starts here by Lehens. Or actually
phenomenal flash from Teddy.
And Teddy flashes there. They don't have the damage, and the Xayah can't actually chase for the kill.
And Casting's just having a bit of a giggle about what's going on.
That broke my brain a little bit.
Yeah, mine wasn't functioning all that well to begin with, so I'm right there with you. Diablo still has a bit of an advantage as far as farm, but he's now 400 gold behind. 500 gold in the lead is Namgung.
I just love how Gideon was like, you can't have Milio because I want this. Also, I'm not going to defend your bottom lane. Good luck.
Yeah.
And Teddy's like, it's cool. I'll outplay it.
He did.
So a trade of flashes, an early kill for the Lucian, an early kill for the Yuumi, which is, you know, is what it is, but I mean, it's relevant.
Okay, Teddy is just going to try and utilize this extra power that he does have in order to put the pressure onto this bottom lane. It's working out so far. Diablo does pick up the majority of those minions underneath the turret, and he's going to do his best to try and claw his way back into this lane. This is a tough time. It's now Sponge fighting against Gideon. I don't know whether Gideon really wants to pick this fight, but it's Sponge saying no to it anyway with that Pillar of Filth. Shout out to old Trundle.
See a plate goes over here. Dragon's being taken with all that prio. Roamer continues to be annoying here in this lane. Now that he's got Tibbers, can push Scout away. So Gideon should be able to get this without any problems.
Yeah, I don't think there's a blast cone here for the Trundle to deal with. There's Sponge just trying to take the remainder of his Krugs before he goes back to base. So this will be first Dragon over to the Bros. And an early Ocean. Probably the best individual Drake to get early on in the game.
They'll even
Gideon
get to
will be able to secure it.
Get to keep that control ward in the river. And Bro are just going to be able to continue to apply pressure until that Essence Reaver is done here for Teddy. Then he moves the advantage to the rest of the map.
Man.
This top lane also, because the junglers have had to, well, one of them at least, decided to go bottom. Because Casting hasn't had any help up here. Kingen is just kind of happy to chill. He's got his flash still.
Yeah, that dive has really warped everything here in this game. As Teddy, Piercing Light comes down, Fire Kick goes wide, and he's now in that fog of war. Lehen's so incredibly low. Is Teddy still going to be going down a little bit here?
That control ward's still there. It's still so valuable.
Oh,
They're in trouble.
They
no flash.
cannot do this. Is Gideon going to flash in with the audacious charge? Diablo, no flash available. He's just dead. Lehen's, he's going to flash, and that will keep him alive for the moment. But with no Xayah there, so much money going to the wayside. And Teddy just massive here in this game.
Absolutely. And I guess the Lucian pick is just going to work out here as he just picks up so much more gold on the play here. And Diablo is denied some of that farm. And now Teddy gets a free back, gets his Sheen, getting so much closer to that coveted Essence Reaver.
I think Sponge will be able to take this Raptor camp. Did actually clear the entire top side as Gideon just going to cut his losses and head over to his Wolves. And so it is a bit of a sacrifice. Sponge actually goes up 3 camps as a result of this. Diablo just going to be moving towards the mid lane, actually, because his bottom lane looked a little bit cooked. So we'll just be able to get a wave delivered so that he can at least get towards his first item as quickly as possible. They crash this one in. Gideon looks to try and clear out some vision here. I think hanging out with Scout is a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think Bro are going to be able to try to make a play here. So you're too far up, you don't have flash. I mean, watching this is almost just an insult to Nongshim because it's not like anything special happened. Your Lehen's flashed the last possible second. Gideon doesn't have the ability to gap close there anymore, so he gets away, but he's now also flashless. Diablo's got his back. But yeah, this Lucian lane is a problem. It's not game-ending yet, but it is certainly going to lead to what could be a larger snowball as we move into the mid-game. As Sponge is going to try to come over here and get triple grubs, but Gideon always has an opinion about that.
Oh, yeah. First grub taken, no smite, though, so Sponge should be able to at least get 2 before they have to vacate. Kingen with the inside track from this top lane just guarantees that these grubs go Nongshim's way. Very, very good to grab grubs in this game. The Yorick being denied is extremely important here for Nongshim, as he could be a big problem in a side lane. Fire kicks going wide every time that happens. Teddy just has so much control.
I mean, not to mention grubs for Teddy, who will have mid lane control coming up. And if they get Herald, for example, whittling that down before it happens would be also very valuable. Teddy's just trying to get any advantage he can right here, but there's no kill threat. I think also trying to find out if Sponge is down here on this bottom side. Trying to deny Lehens this ward clear, but he won't be able to quite stop Lehens from getting that one away. This top side has just been, it's been very top lane, which is not often the case with Yorick and a Jace, because usually you want to protect your Jace's little advantage, and the Yorick wants to really get online and be this counter pick. But we just see this volatile matchup end up being pretty even, but Kingen has generated a small lead.
Yep. Just taking whatever he can get. You don't really want to have like a small lead, though, as the Jace left alone in this top lane. You do kind of want to play out that early game as aggressively as possible. Because the Yorick should be able to find an advantage when he gets to a couple of items.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Sponge went bottom lane with that dive, failed it, and it's just been, Kingen trying to hold on to this advantage, but it's getting tougher and tougher. We haven't seen any rotation over there by poor Sponge on this Trundle. Scout's doing a good job in this laning phase here, but it's not about the mid lane right now. It's about the setup the Annie's going to get no matter what. Pretty easy to do, and it's about this upcoming Dragon fight and the Herald fight more important than anything else, as even a Ghoulie wall is not going to stop Kingen right now.
Yeah, Kingen is going to be able to shoot through that one with the W very, very comfortably. Sponge looking for a potential angle here.
Finally, a jungler comes topside.
Yeah, just going to eat the Maiden for 50 gold. Gorgeous. They'll also grab a bunch of extra plate money here, yeah. So this is the first time they've kind of played towards this top side, but they do so beautifully.
They've also rotated Diablo over, so it's going to be a lot of money picked up here for Nongshim. It also means Teddy's getting free stuff on the other side, but this is while denying farm to this Yorick. So I don't think this necessarily is going to be good for Bro, especially with first brick going over here with all this extra damage.
This is not where Scout wants to be either. Wind becomes lightning and he's going to miss because of the flash.
Good
Scout
flash.
does win the ulti trade. But Gideon should be able to take this free dragon. There is also this tower falling down, is casting in a lot of trouble.
I think this is really starting to favor Nongshim. They're getting way more here topside, and Diablo, he's 1.2k behind, but he's getting a lot of money he shouldn't otherwise have access to, and casting is just being pushed out of the game. What Teddy gets on the other side is nowhere near equivalent. Look at the gold lead just vanish for this Lucian.
Yeah, and that is all of those plates. This full inner turret. Inner turrets are worth so much money as well. And so it now gets, like,
he just
the gold lead for Teddy gets cut in half entirely, and there is that gold grab. Sometimes you gotta love production, knowing exactly what to do. And yeah, the outer turret is going to survive. Kingen just jumps on top of Teddy, and he's dead! Oh, God!
All right, well, you had the little mishap Nongshim did where Teddy got ahead, but now he is just put in the bin.
All right, so the Bros, I've figured it out. I understand. This is obvious. This is how it's supposed to be. The Bros, they know that they're not supposed to have an advantage like that in the early game. And so they're like, you know what? This isn't our comfort zone. let's just let Nongshim walk all the way up our top lane.
I think the explanation is a lot more simple. The lane swap worked out. Bro didn't respond. They had no answer. They just said, Teddy, keep pushing. And then they got 2 turrets for Nongshim. Bro's response was poor. And now, with the swap back, Diablo's looking for another turret.
Well, let's see what they can do here as in goes Gideon. The final chapter comes on down. Kingen is going to be able to get out. Diablo's fine. Featherstorm, Flash, and Exhaust all expended. But Nongshim will escape.
They ended up getting the flash and the ult out of Diablo. It's a really nice flash angle there to prevent any sort of follow-up. But he does have to ultimately expend both of his safety tools here, and they don't get the turret. So gold-wise, not a big defense for Bro, but it's just the turret demolition squad here for Nongshim. They've got it on the banner. They operate in all 3 lanes.
Yeah, this is just like a tempo masterclass here, as it's not a shock blast masterclass from Kingen, who's going to make that one go wide. Tibbers goes down, Goolywall goes in. Tibbers kicked away, but the turret is still going to go down. And Nongshim are going to reclaim that gold lead and extend it above 1,000 once again. There is look at all of these turret plates that have gone down in favor of Nongshim. Only 1 more remaining on that bottom side. That'll be 4 turrets to 1. So it is a lot of standing gold, I guess. So a lot of this gold lead is somewhat artificial.
I just think that the cool thing is, right now, this comp for Bro needs to be exploding and forcing fights and fighting over objectives, everyone they can take. They got the first 2 objectives. Nongshim ended up giving those over. They got so much gold that when Bro are at their strongest with this Essence Reaver for Teddy, Teddy's hitting a turret in the bottom lane and otherwise just getting outpaced everywhere else on the map. So they actually don't get to utilize the advantage they had. He still has a gold lead, but that means less and less. And it's obviously much smaller than it used to be. It's about, 800 of the 1,200 now, so he got it back up from the 600 it dropped down to briefly when they did finally finish off that bottom turret. But Nongshim are really playing the map well. They took what was a disastrous early game state and just played the map brilliantly and have fought their way back to looking like they're going to be able to be the ones to control this Herald that's up here in 40 seconds.
Yeah, you've got Kingen, who's absolutely gigantic right now. Being able to move towards the top side, he will be able to get that wave pushed out again, and it pushes a really long way before it reaches a turret. And so top side control is certainly going to be something that Nongshim has in spades from now on. As Ghoul's frustrating Diablo here momentarily, but Casting not going to let that last plate go and this turret fall down with it. So we'll be there to defend. But I like this. What they've been doing is just moving Diablo into safe places to get money, because he was the main sufferer of that bottom lane going horrifically wrong. And I think they've triaged the situation very, very well.
Absolutely. Now starting up that Herald, like I said, they got map control. By eliminating those turrets, it's really easy to get prio here. And what's the answer for Bro? Okay, finally York gets to push. That's the answer. That's all they've got. That's the only response. And by answer, I mean that's their answer. It's not really a answer to the problem, as this Herald is now going to be able to rip through what's left of the mid lane, or just guarantee prio, or even be used as a combat Herald here for this next Dragon. They have so much map control in the York. Yes, got some free time in the bottom lane, but wasn't able to touch the turret. And he's still so incredibly behind. And damage-wise, Kingen is doing so much more against this low-range comp. He has so much power and will be able to just effectively free fire, especially if they can keep up the map and vision control. There's a lot of vision on Dragon right now here for Bro. Let's see if they can maintain it, because prio is not theirs, and I think it's just going to get wiped away.
Yeah, Nongshim, they probably do want to start considering these Drakes. And yeah, it's a Chemtech. Sometimes we like to say that Chemtech isn't great. For a Trundle composition, it's pretty good. Not to mention the fact that they also have Emilio. So I think that if they're able to stack up a few of these, they're going to be feeling very, very happy. Shock Blast now raining through. And Teddy throws down the culling. Lehens is able to heal off a lot of it. And Gideon going to get pushed back. Nongshim now looking for a fight as Sponge goes in. Gideon taking a lot of damage, hasn't used the Crescent Guard just yet. But if he gets poked down, it's not going to be that valuable. And I think the Bros might just have to give this Dragon away.
I think they do, but they're not scaling. And they don't have a Yorick in a side lane, as they're going to try to TP him into a flank.
All right, the flanking Yorick is the deadliest as in comes the maiden. Kingen is going to get routed. There's the final chapter, and the Jace will be going down first. Nongshim are just going to secure the dragon as now the kite back begins. Can Diablo make that one work? The answer is definitely not. It's a double for the Yorick as Casting now has a little cat as well as a bunch of ghouls, and he has the right skin for it as well. Into the ghoulie wall they go, but it looks like Nongshim will be allowed to escape for now. Good fight there from the bros. The dragon stacking is denied.
A very thin margin by which they won it with this Yorick teleport. Kingen just not able to react here. And by the time he gets ghoulie walled, the fight is already over. So Nongshim decide, okay, we're just going to back away. Lens flashes super early because he wants to buy some space here to maybe be able to fire kick and peel for his team. He does get one there as he dies. They get the dragon and get out. But this is just step one for Brion, right? Han and Brion end up winning a team fight here. They don't get the dragon, they don't get soul point, they get a gold influx, right? They take a gold lead, but the composition is still going to get outscaled. There's still big problems. They need to win another fight, I think, before we can really say they're truly in the driver's seat. Because right now they want to fight, but now they're losing turrets on the map, and Casting is nowhere near getting side lane value. Got 2 kills, so that's relevant. Still 1,000 gold behind.
Yeah, and they have 4 people in the top lane. Well, it was 3, and 4 until Teddy went back home again. So this turret is just going to go down for free. Scout is moving towards that top lane to try and catch that wave that is getting shoved forward. But all of these minion waves are just so far away from Nongshim turrets. Like, bro have so much work to do to get tempo back in this game.
I just feel like that fight itself is only relevant if you also can then threaten soul point with it, but they couldn't do that. And the gold they got, it matters, but it doesn't change the full story.
Sponge, don't listen to the voices. Don't listen to the voices. He listened to the voices! He's going to need to subjugate. It's not going to work! As the final chapter comes down, looking for some snares. Doesn't quite get it. Teleport in from Scout, though, is now Teddy. Has to flash to get out of the way. Still, it's a pick onto the jungler. And they're going to be very happy that that one is acquired. But that is going to be it, really.
The big win is that Casting gets free time down here. And maybe could even get a proc of overgrowth. But Kingen is rushing over already, so I don't even know if that's going to happen. He looks like he just barely will get it.
Yep.
And so that's something here for Bro. Like, they got the jungler, like you said, but couldn't actually further anything on that play. So much was used, including the Crescent Guard, actually, to prevent the follow-up on killing Sponge here. So I think Sponge knew they were in this brush, but was just hoping they could fight their way through it with the Xayah at low range, but the Crescent Guard puts a big damper on that. Kingen does a lot of damage, but they can't get any follow-up kills, and Scout TP's in. So they get a kill, they get that extra push in the bottom lane for the Yorick, who takes 2 plates off of just 1 big swing. But ultimately, still the same problems remain here for Bro.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Teddy is also scaling. He's ahead still 2,000 gold. If he can be set up correctly, and if Nongshim keep face-checking or walking too far forward, I mean, Bro absolutely can win this game despite some of the larger challenges they have here compositionally. As Sponge goes for Randuin second. I actually really like that choice, given this game state.
Kind of crazy. He's also only got the free boots. He's just really booked it towards these 2 items. Sponge didn't use his ult in that last fight. I actually kind of thought with Lehens there, the subjugate might have been enough to keep them in it for at least a little bit longer and try and fight that one out, but instead holds on to the subjugate. And
Late Herald.
Going to use it there as, yeah.
I guess they could try to just board it and charge it and siege this up. I mean, I think it's really difficult for Bro to defend without Yorick here. He is coming over.
Yeah, so it might be Shelly getting a charge, and there it is. So that is some extra money, and in fact, almost takes that turret down. Gideon also looking worse for wear, as Sponge really has been inside this jungle. They will siege down the inner,
but they also
so there's only 1 inner turret left.
They get Casting out of the bottom lane. You know, they get the Yorick out of the side lane. They forced a full group for Bro. 5 people came to watch the turret explode. And that's like what the value of this Herald ultimately ends up being, is Nongshim were like, well, we want to get something more out of it. We got the turret so early. I guess we'll just drop this down mid. And Bro pull everybody there and then still lose the turret. And now we're not going to have necessarily prio for this next dragon fight here. This Casting just cannot get even across the equator of the rift right now.
Do you think that Gideon assumes he has a gold lead? Because I personally, if I was him, would assume that he'd have a gold lead. As Sponge going to get stunned up here. Does have to subjugate him. My God! They can't hurt him when he presses that button. Casting comes down, though, and they will keep Gideon alive, at least for the moment. Sponge running real quickly on that tainted ground.
Too much
now
poke.
Kingin trying to route them. There's the Arcane Storm down from Scout. And they are just zoning them away, saying,
can just
no,
go to
bro,
Dragon.
back to your base.
They can just go straight to Dragon here and keep lobbing shock blasts at the approaching Brionne squad. And Brionne just can't close the gap. I mean, Romer has flash, but it's a long flash she's going to need to get in and engage here. Gideon with no Crescent Guard.
Whoa,
no
the
help.
flash from Romer. I don't know about that position from Diablo, but he goes up into the sky, puts the feathers down, and now Kingin to the skies into the back line. And they do look to take down Tim as the flash forward. He takes down the Annie, but he will get taken out for it. Gideon now in a lot of trouble. Teddy getting chased down. The flash in, but Teddy stays alive. He's skating, and he's able to get the double as Scout falls. Diablo so close to dead, but he will stay alive for the moment. 3-2, and that should be soul point to the bros.
The defense of Romer's flash was great, but they didn't need to chase that far onto Teddy, and it's going to backfire in a huge way. And now Diablo, I think, is probably just going to get run down. Lahen's 100% dead,
Yeah,
and this is a disaster for Nongshim.
There were 4 that were alive. Actually, it's just the cat is a little bit confusing. That was a cute flash from Diablo.
Okay, he gets away, but it's not going to stop that soul point from going over to Gideon. And like these teams have got to understand the map, you know? Like right here, Nongshim was like, okay, checkmate, you guys can't come over. And Diablo's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna walk in. So Romer does get that flash play. I said it was gonna take a big flash, but Diablo walked forward, but they were so confident with Kingin's flank here that would win this fight. He does a ton of damage, but from here, you don't have to flash on this. You won. Go get the dragon. You have a gold lead. You're scaling. And so they're like sending all their summoner spells into Teddy when he's got a Xin to peel for him, a Yuumi on his back. And then the greedy back here happens. Lahen's will pay for it. Diablo was able to do the tricky blast cone out, but this was such a misplay straight up here for Nongshim Red Force. Even the speedy honey fruit isn't enough to get Diablo into a winnable position. He's able to avoid Teddy's blast cone in with a flashback.
Don't tell me that they just take a Baron. That's not fair. Well, Gideon and Romer are making their way over. Teddy's here as well. They're going to have everyone there except for Casting, whose teleport is still not off cooldown. Gideon gets in. It's going to be a 50-50, but Gideon's going down low. The culling's massive. They steal the Baron. Teddy's just partying on the Arcane Storm and not caring at all. Kingin's dead, and the bros are going to destroy Nongshim now. The Featherstorm comes in, but I mean, that was way too late. The bros let him go. They've gotten what they wanted.
Bro, get the steal, get the kill, and they're just like, thanks for taking another unnecessary risk. And if they had gotten away with it, Nongshim would have felt great about the play. But
I mean, they were feeling desperate. That must have been it.
Nongshim, here's the best way to put it. I don't think they understand their win cons here. And where this game state is, you asked a question about Gideon thinking he has a gold lead. He's getting closer. But, you know, Nongshim, I think, maybe thought that despite that last disastrous attempt, they just had such a lead that they could burst this one down and just continue to siege because there's not that much left on the map here for Bro. They've got 5 turrets to 3. They just keep feeding team fights over to Bro. And now that standing gold you mentioned is still a thing.
Jump scare. As Sponge doesn't have Subjugate, nor does he have his life. Teddy's going to be able to lock him down. Scout now trying to stay alive against both of these brawly members of the Bros, and he is just dead.
Where's the macro we were seeing earlier? Now Bro just get a Baron, and they're just taking freebies all over the map. Scouts in no man's land. There's 2 dead for Nongshim. And Hanji and Brionne, it looks like they're just going to steal this game away.
That's what's happening so far. As Teddy trying to siege. I mean, he's a Lucian. Sieging is a little bit difficult. Probably does need a minion wave in order to do so, and is going to have to wait for that one. As Kingin is trying to be frustrating towards the top side. I mean, there's bounties, but there's no turrets they can get to. It's kind of hilarious that the Bros have managed to get such a massive gold swing. And they'll break open the base here in this mid lane. They'll take down the inhibitor. And now Kingin just trying to get this maiden away from the structures. Mid lane inhibitor, probably the least important to defend here. So Nongshim not too worried about that one going down. But there's an outer turret to take in this top lane. Like, it's insane how much standing gold there is for the Bros to take.
I think there's more worries than the inhibitor. I think there's worries about what happens on every subsequent objective in this game, as this was just so greedy. Look at Lahen's health bar too. And Teddy's positioning, because the Crescent Guard is here, they can't focus down Gideon. Only Sponge can really do battle with him. And Romer ends up dropping a bear onto Kingin, And Gideon's still alive. And Teddy's just skating forward. And this is the coach reaction here. We jumped into it a bit early. But they know that they were in a dire spot in this game. And they were gifted 2 opportunities by firstly Diablo. And then the follow-up there from Kingen in the first fight. And then this one just a risky Baron. As we'll jump into another replay of Sponge just dying here. And then Scout also being caught. We don't need to watch this again. I don't even know why we are, but...
Yeah, we didn't really need to. We're going to go back to the game. Not a whole lot was happening, I guess. And Scout this time will not be caught in this side lane.
Like, this does wonders for Bro in the Rise group, by the way, if they win the series. They go up to 7-14 to tie Nongshim, who will have 14 losses after they lose this game. Crazy stuff. I mean, they were massive underdogs in this one. The upsets just continue. The game isn't over. The Nexus hasn't exploded, but it's all but done here. I'm kind of speechless.
It's kind of ridiculous because Nongshim were in a very good position earlier on in this game, and it felt like they were playing it smart, right? 30 seconds now, and it's going to be Chemtech's Soul as, the Shock Blast avoided. Gideon not looking too susceptible to damage right now.
Romer doesn't want to use his Tibbers here. He's got Flash. They have so much control. They can just go back to this Dragon. It's a pretty good Dragon for this comp, especially with the Xin, who does have a gold lead now.
And the Yorick. So a very good moment here as Diablo will be able to get some autos onto Gideon, who does throw down the Crescent Guard. It's pretty early, and there's not a whole lot that they can do about it. It does wear off now as he has to flash. Gets over the wall to burn the tick, and he's down to the Subjugate. And Nongshim, they get rid of the jungler right as the Dragon is spawned. Maybe a chance to come back.
This game starts to feel like who's made the most recent error.
Yeah.
Another Shock Blast is not going to land. Romer has Flash Tibbers. They need to play around it a little bit here, but they just have so much damage. They can kind of just camp the Dragon and say there's no enemy jungler, so...
Bounty gold, baby!
Bounty gold, as you say. And will Romer be able to punish some desynced backs? It's not going to happen. The base will need a defense.
Yeah, and so there are a lot of super minions making their way in.
Like, this is not Bro losing the game, but it's losing the Soul, which is one of their big win cons. And if this game goes super late, and we are looking at Xayah Victor on the other side, and this would have made the Elder spawn faster. This would have been Soul point, or rather Soul for them. And you mentioned the Yorick also getting a lot of value out of that in straight-up team fights.
Don't you think Namgung could have done, like, one thing in order to make his Xin Zhao not die?
I mean, New Yumi she only protects her best friend.
Okay.
But I was thinking that the whole time. Old Yumi would have been like, we fight this, by the way.
I mean, he at least has, like, heal.
Like, I don't know if the heal would have saved him, though. I think he wants to keep the heal for Teddy, is my guess as to what happened there. Bro is still in a commanding position in this game, but that should have been the last nail in the coffin, and instead it's just kind of Nongshim fans getting another lease on life, a little bit of extra hope here, as that inhibitor is going to respawn in 80 seconds as well.
Yeah, Diablo is nowhere near his Infinity Edge. 4 items are well and truly completed here for Teddy. Still some brown bags on this Xayah as well. My goodness, needs to buy some Nikes, I think. But just hasn't been able to.
He's been a little low eco on this one.
Yeah, a bit of the bargain bin on this Xayah, as the Bros in great position around this Baron. But as we mentioned before, I mean, this is the right inhibitor to go down, right? You want to keep pushing in this mid lane. Sponge takes the Mega Cone to get back towards his mid lane.
Lichbane picked up for the Victor. A really potent item as well if they end up just winning a fight suddenly with that open mid lane.
Oh, Roma looks for the angle, finds Diablo in that back line, but the ulti does come through. Final chapter isn't the best, as now Diablo just gets on top of Roma. Roma should be dead, but no! It's the Xayah that goes down. Scout has to overextend. Lahan's looking to keep Sponge alive, but he'll fail to do so, and Teddy's on a rampage. Scout staying alive here towards his top side. Wind doesn't become lightning, and Gideon doesn't get in there. Okay, Gravity Well goes down, and Gideon will have to back away, but Scout has to try and get back, and I think the Bros have done it. Nongshim looked great in the first week of this round robin, but this time around, the Bros are going to find their win here in game.
That inhibitor respawns, and Xayah is going to respawn in 10. They're trying to force this here, and I think they might just have the damage.
I think they might. It's a naked Nexus. They're going to kill Scout first, just for fun. Teddy, an absolute monster here in this game as the Bros take down Nongshim here in the first series of this round, this week.
Might not be able to catch Nongshim on an off day.
Yeah, I mean, they just lost to DNS. Maybe they got jealous of the Legend Group, which is where all the upsets were in week number 1. Now in week number 2, we've got a dancing Roma. We were been waiting for that one because they've been on a loss streak for a really long time, and now we do get it.
As there's just so much to go over.
Yeah, there really is. This was something that we kind of thought the Nongshim would be able to deal with, right? With the fact that they had the Melio. They could then stop that stun from being too much of a problem, but if Lehens is immediately stunned alongside, then it becomes very, very difficult. And Teddy was just kind of unanswerable in this game.
He did so much damage on the Corki. He popped off in this game on the Lucian, but I think the thinking man's vote is Gideon. Even in the loss on the Nefiri, had such a great series. I voted for him. It was pretty easy for me. His Xin saved this game and saved space so many times.
Yep. He also, you know, just let his bottom lane win that dive towards the bottom side because he knew, and was then able to get so much more done elsewhere on the map. I think it wasn't about the Xin Zhao, but I think in game number 1, his Skarner was phenomenal, and a Gideon back to form is definitely what the bros needed here in this week, here in the Rise group, as they do finally pick up the win. Let's have a look at Teddy's damage, which is absolutely
I think
gigantic.
Teddy's going to get the boom boom palm, but I think a lot of this series was about Gideon. Roamer getting that catch on Diablo at the end might get a stray vote as well, because that was the moment that ended the game, but I think the game was very well and truly in Bros' control. The graph is a good indicator of what we saw across this best of 3.
Yeah, this is a Rise group graph, ladies and gentlemen, as Teddy is going to pick up the player of the match. The Ezreal game notwithstanding, he was absolutely phenomenal. The Corki able to pick up so many of the kills and did so much damage in that game number 1. The Ezreal honestly hasn't been a whole lot of success for Teddy. Actually had a loss on it yesterday as well. But moving his way up the POM standings as well, now tying Taeun. And that is one of the first times I've ever seen a bro player in 3rd place on POM. That's nuts.
The Melio denial didn't work. It looked like maybe it might have, but it just ultimately did not.
It did not. But now